Let's start from our register user button pressed, because right now we have no users and we cannot check if the login is working properly. So in my register user button pressed, we are going to write the code. First, we want to check if the text fields are empty or no. So we say if text fields have text, and we're calling this function, and we put an else here. And in case if they don't have a text, I'm going to say agut.show text label dot text label dot text is equals, and I'm going to write all fields are required. And then we say agut dot indicator view is equals to jg progress agut error indicator view. And now we need to show this, so we say agut dot show, and we're going to show in self dot view. And finally we're going to dismiss it, so we say agut dot dismiss, and we're going to after delay of just 2 seconds. So this in case if our text fields are empty, and if they are not empty, we're going to register the user. And for this, I'm going to create a function that is going to take care of our registration. So let's write on top of our helpers, put another mark, call this register user, and say private func register user. And now we can call the function here, say register user. And what we need to do in order to register user, first we want to start by showing a spinning indicator to our user that he knows that something is going on, because our registration process is going to take some time to be completed, and we want the user to be notified that something is going on, so the application is actually working. So I'm going to say show loading indicator. Then we're going to access our muser class by saying muser dot, and we're calling to call our register user with email function, and the email here is going to be our email text field dot text, and we can unwrap this, and the password will be our password text field dot text, and unwrap this as well. And by hitting a return on my error, I'm going to just give this error as a variable name, and this part of the code will be the callback whenever our register user with email and password is done. So once it's done, what we need to do to check, we have to do two things. The first one, we're going to check if there was any errors, and if no, we are going to tell our user that the verification email was sent to him. And if there was an error, we are going to tell the user that there was an error and present the error to the user. So I'm going to say if error is equals to nil, so if we had an error, I'm going to say, let me just copy this part here so we don't have to type it again. We are going to present something to our user. So the label, the text is going to be, actually this is when we don't have an error, error is nil. So the text will be verification email sent, and instead of error here we are going to pass success indicator, and the rest is going to be the same. Just one thing, we need to add self keyword in front of agut, because the code here is running in the background thread. So we say self.agut, and then we are going to do the same thing here. and this in case if we had no error. Else, if we had an error, I'm going to copy and paste this part again. But this time we are going to show our error. And apart from showing, I also want to print the error. And I'm going to say error registering. Because the show time is only 2 seconds, we may not be able to get all error message. So I want to have it in the console as well. So I will say error, unwrap this localized description. And here the text is going to be just our error localized description. And the rest is just we need to write self in front of it. Right? And finally, once this is done, what we want to do is to stop our animation from spinning. So we say self.hide loading indicator. And this will hide our loading indicator so it doesn't spin over and over again. So in our next lecture, what we are going to do is to try and register a user.